Hello everyone, my name is OshiSeven. This is the AH-1Z attack helicopter on the map Wake Island, and I'll be giving you a few hints and tips on what to do and how to play if you are in the attack helicopter. Luckily for you, you do spawn inside the attack helicopter straight away, whereas the enemy team have to spawn at the C flag and either run to the Havoc or run to the Tunguska. But if they have both, you obviously want to target the attack helicopter first. Once you do that, get low. Luckily for this map, you can keep quite a low profile. On any map, you don't want to be the center of attention. You don't want to be up in the air, an easy target, because you do move a lot slower than any other air vehicle. And yeah, you don't want to make yourself a target. You want to keep low and hide. Now, by the time you have someone in the attack helicopter, you're also going to have someone in the Tunguska, which is always going to be second priority. It will mess up your game quite a lot, but thankfully with guided rockets you can deal with it rather quickly. Again, get low. I mean, I have taken a bit of damage in this one from the cannon on the Tunguska, but it isn't a big deal. I'm not disabled, so I can keep low, keep away from the eyes of stingers and engineers and all those things, and actually use my under the radar perk, which you should have unlocked by now. To stop any jets or helicopters from locking onto me when I'm that low. So obviously, once you've taken out the Tunguska and the attack helicopter, you want to begin taking out armor for your teammates. I'm not actually talking to my teammate in this game. I don't know who he is. He's just another guy who jumped in. So at this point, I pop flares and dive, get away from that lock-on. I don't know if my teammate has flares. I have absolutely no idea. So I'm just playing it safe for now right at the beginning of the game. If you are talking to someone, either on TeamSpeak or over VoIP if you're playing on the console, just make sure to coordinate. You want to be talking to each other all the time. You want to be making sure you're both going for the same targets and you're both aware of what's going on. So yeah, the enemy Tunguska is respawned. In this server, it seems the vehicles do respawn rather quick, which is both good and bad. It means you can get in the vehicles quick once again, but unfortunately, you have to keep on dealing with pain in the ass Tunguskas and attack helicopters. So yeah, at this point, magically the lock-on disappears. This is mainly because the infantry and tanks and all those very great things that attack helicopters like to eat are a bit raised up from the sea level, and you can actually fly along the sea level and be pretty hidden. It's rather good. Now, the Havoc was behind me, it was trying to get me. Luckily, the Havoc is like flying a bathtub. I know some people like it, but there is nothing redeemable about that helicopter whatsoever. So me and my gunner take pretty quick care of that. We lose the lock-on. I'm not too sure how we lost it. I don't know if the engineer just got bored or what. But yeah, at this point, we do have, we are in a pretty good way. I decided to try and help my teammates who are on the ground take these flags. The best way in an attack helicopter to do that is by taking out enemy armor. Look at that shadow. Holy crap, that jet completely pwned me. That death shadow from above was pretty cool though. I quite enjoyed that. I don't usually like going down on the helicopter, but if I do, at least it was cool. So yeah, at this point I'm pretty aware that the jets are gunning for me. Luckily in this game the jets aren't as annoying, I guess, as they can be. A lot of the times jet pilots will prioritize helicopters over everything, even other jets, which can be infuriating, but luckily in this game they don't seem to be as prolific. At this point I decide I can't lock onto the enemy helicopter, nor can I do anything with guided missiles, guided rockets. And I decided to prioritize the Tunguska instead. At this point it is the bigger threat. Pop some flares. Hopefully me and my gunner can take good care of it before it does any damage. And boom, done. Again, because I am flying over their base, I do want to get quite low. A jet on my ass, do a little turn. And yeah, it looks like the Havoc is going to look for me. He thinks I'm still down there. The Havoc is just so slow, so stupid. I don't even know why it's in the game. I'd rather not fly than fly the Havoc. So yeah, at this point I'm getting locked onto again. The same story. If you are getting locked onto, pop flares, get low, and that's it, the lock is gone. Flying low isn't as hard as most people think it is. You just gotta make sure you know what you're doing. You know when to use the thrust, when to dethrottle, and all those wonderful things, and it is pretty easy. You'll get used to it eventually. So right now we do have their C flag, which is their airfield. on the consoles with free flags, or on baby conquest as I call it. It is the B flag, but on this version of conquest, it is the C flag. And once you have that, the enemy team won't be spawning any more havocs or jets, which means if your team can take that, you'll pretty much guarantee a win in the game. You'll be doing something very drastically wrong to lose a game if they don't have any air support, and you do. So yeah, luckily for me, my gunner did disable that jet. It was going for me. I don't usually tend to go and fight jets if I am in a helicopter. It's pretty much a bad idea in general. But that one was going for me, so I thought I had to dogfight it a little bit, and luckily it worked out pretty good. So yeah, same story again. Get low, lose the lock, just keep on flying. You want to make sure you keep a low profile on this map. A lot of the time, engineers with stingers will actually wait around a little while for you. But luckily in this one, you can just fly along that shoreline and they'll forget about you, or they'll lose you. And yeah, so the Tunguska's back up. Me and my gunner make pretty quick work of it. It's been disabled, the guy abandons it, gunner goes for the infantry, I go for the tank, and yeah, that was pretty swift and easy. So at this point, we have 3 flags. We have C, D, and E, and we're actually taking A and B. So I helped my teammates out by taking out the tank that was headed towards B, and then I head over to A and see what infantry are hanging around. That jet pilot just screwed up big time. That's pretty funny. I always like seeing that when jets do that. So I just imagine the the guy sitting behind his computer raging as much as I do when I crash the heli. So yeah, at this point, the game does get a little sleepy. It's a 1,000 ticket server, so you generally expect these games to go on for quite long, but I don't think this game went on for more than 15 minutes, which is pretty quick for a 1,000 ticket game. Especially for a game with a lot of vehicle respawns. So yeah, Tunguska's back up. For some reason, he wanted to make sandcastles. I hate sandcastles, so me and my gunner completely decimate him. He tries to repair his Tunguska in vain, but it's already too late. And there we go. So at this point we have every single flag. This pretty much goes from Wake Island to Rape Island. And without any jets to bother you, or enemy helicopters to worry about, or any Tunguskas to really bother you, you can pretty much fly as brazenly as you like. The only thing you have to worry about is stingers, and they're pretty easy to deal with on their own. So yeah, some pretty sloppy circle strafing. When you are in a situation where you are just killing infantry, you want to accommodate your gunner as much as possible. When it comes to taking out tanks and other things like that, you do want to take the lead. Let your gunner know which one you're going for by either marking a single tank, or by shooting the tank that you do want to go for, or Tunguska, or whatever you're going to be shooting at. But when it is dealing with infantry and supporting ground troops, you are just facilitating the gunner. You're not taking the lead, you're just helping him rain death, basically. And yeah, at this point, I'm getting locked onto still, so the engineer must have been on the beach. So yeah, at that point, I decided to go on top and get away from that missile. Hopefully it crashed into the trees that I passed, or maybe even the land. But that's pretty much the only other way, if you haven't got flares, is to just completely try and lose the missile through flight alone, by making it hit into a building or the land itself, or hopefully, you know, you have a pretty smart gunner who's also using flares. So I go back around. I'm hunting for that guy who had the stinger. I assume he hasn't been killed, but I guess he has, because I didn't see a single soul on the beach. Again, you want to be looking at what your gunner's doing. At that point, I maybe didn't, but he is taking care of business. He's destroying these buildings, which is very, very smart. They can actually hide in these buildings, wait for your infantry and tanks to leave, to go look for some action somewhere else, and take that flag, and then they can begin to maybe build a counterattack. At this point, with double their tickets, I don't think they have much chance of making a comeback, but they'll still try. I mean, if they could take every single flag now, they would have a comeback, but that just isn't the case. At this point, I was trying to look for where the stinger was coming from. I see it on these rocks. and me and my gunner pretty much make quick work of him. So yeah, when you do spawn in the helicopter on this map, you want to prioritize, first of all, the enemy chopper. In any map, the enemy chopper is always going to be your #1 threat. Second of all is going to be the Tunguska. You want to make sure that goes down pretty quick. With guided rockets, you can do it pretty easy, and from a distance, which makes it hard for them. The last thing you want to do with a Tunguska around is hold still for them. So make sure you are moving either vertically or horizontally or both. Just to give them a little bit of a harder time trying to hit you. Once that's down, you can then proceed to target the enemy infantry or enemy armor. Enemy armor is always a good thing because that does help out your infantry quite a lot in taking the flags and making a comeback. Of course, this is attacking conquest, so you do start off with no flags and you are losing tickets straight away. You start with a few more tickets, but you do lose them pretty quick when you have no flags. And sometimes when you start these games, your team is pretty slow to capture those first flags, so taking out any enemy armor will help your team and hopefully get you a win like this. Well, hopefully not like this. I mean, this is pretty boring, to be honest. I'm just using this as an example. I had a few good moments where I did dodge a few stingers by using the land, by coordinating with my gunner, and just by flying intelligently. Yeah, as I said, at this point I have no idea where the stingers are coming from. I'm trying to pay attention to where my gunner is looking, and as you can see, my gunner knows exactly where he is. Unfortunately, I have to just take this stinger, but it doesn't disable you. One stinger won't disable you, so it's fine. And yeah, that's the end of that guy. And that is why you pay attention to your gunner. So at this point the game's getting pretty boring. They're down to less than 100 tickets. This is pretty much a guaranteed win. They have, I'd say, 0 chance of making a comeback. So I get pretty bored and decide to go on a little fun ride close to the ground. But luckily for me, the flag I was heading towards was the one they were taking. So they are actually taking that flag back. So I can just do some circle strafing. Try to kill anyone there. At this point, this is where it gets a little interesting. They've actually taken the flag back, and you can bet money that the entire enemy team are going to be spawning there now. There's going to be a lot of infantry on that flag right now. And I accidentally popped my flares a little too early, and I have to make a little break for it. Wait for them to reload and go for it again. Pressing Q in the pilot or gunner seat is always invaluable. You don't want to spam it, but every 1 to 2 seconds just tap Q just to see if there are any infantry around. And hopefully your gunner will clean them up and maybe even see any armor or anything like that. So yeah, because they don't have any vehicles or any air support, we have the luxury of flying over their base, just raining death, basically. I don't usually engage infantry with rocket pods, but I was getting pretty bored, so I thought I'd take a few cheeky shots. And I'm just giving my gunner something to look at. When you do circle strafe, the most important thing is to give your gunner consistent speed and movement, so he can predict where you're going to go, so he can move the gun in coordination with you. Again, if you're getting locked onto, use the terrain. You can fly lower than the infantry is, so you can hide pretty well. And give your gunner an opportunity to get them kills. And we win. It was pretty one-sided, but a win is a win. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the game, enjoyed the video. If you do have any of your own tips or suggestions about how you fly the Viper, please leave them in the comment section. I'm always trying to improve my own game. And of course, if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. Please check out my channel for more content like this, and have a nice day.